Good evening. The Wayzata Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting for September 11th, 2017 will please come to order. Ms. Keene, would you please call the roll?
Linda Cohen.
Here.
Andrea Keene, here. Sarah Johansson.
Here.
Eric Brown.
Here.
Chris McCullough is absent. Bonita Lucky.
Here.
Cheryl Polzine.
Here.
Dr. Anderson.
Here.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. So our first order of business for tonight is to approve the agenda and the consent agenda. The consent agenda items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of each of the items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed as a consent agenda item and addressed. The consent agenda items are listed in the materials, and the recommended action is to approve the agenda and the consent agenda items. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Motion.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I believe this is a roll call vote.
All right, Bonita Lucky.
Yes.
Cheryl Polzine.
Yes.
Eric Brown.
Yes.
Andrea Keene, yes. Linda Cohen.
Yes.
Sarah Johansson.
Yes.
Chair McCullough is absent.
All right.
The motion carries.
Thank you, everyone, and now we have an agenda. And the next item on our agenda for tonight are reports from organizations, and this is always one of our favorite times. And as it is September, we get to welcome a new representative from the Student Council. So welcome, Grant Collinge. Why don't you come on up and tell us what's happening? Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Grant Collinge. I'm the Student Council Vice President over at the high school, and I'm here today to inform you guys about what is going on in and around our high school. So first of all, in general school news, we had a great first week of school at the high school, and we currently have over 3,400 students enrolled. Our Spirit Rock, located by the cafeteria in the back of the school, is still ever-changing. Currently, the rock says United in yellow writing. In Student Council news, the Student Council welcomed the Wayzata High School staff back on the first day of workshop by providing them with the continental breakfast containing bagels, pastries, coffees, and more. We have 27 new staff members. On the first day of school, each new staff member received a morning visit from a Student Council member as they dropped off a morning coffee and wished them a good day. At the end of the day, each new staff member was visited by a Student Council member again with an after-school treat and a check-in on how their first day went. The new staff loved this new tradition and the welcome they received to the Wayzata High School. We are currently getting ready for Homecoming 2017, the theme being Step Right Up. We will have a carnival theme and are preparing to decorate the entire school with carnival decorations. We also have a new tradition starting this year, the Wayzata High School Community Homecoming Carnival. Instead of a parade this year, we will be hosting this community event in the Wayzata High School Stadium parking lot from 5 to 7 p.m. prior to the homecoming football game. We will have food trucks so local families can come for dinner, and Wayzata High School groups, which typically had entries in our parade, will be given the opportunity to have a booth in our carnival. Families can enjoy the carnival booths free of charge, and the Student Council will have a dunk tank. We will also have an alumni booth, and if alumni check in and take a picture, we will show the pictures on the scoreboard throughout the game. We are going to give this new event a try this year, and if it works well, we will continue it in the future years and call it a community homecoming block party. We are also excited to be hosting a Pep Fest in the gym. It will take place on Thursday, September 28th, and because of limited seating space, only students will be allowed in the gym. We will be taping it and posting it online for parents and students to enjoy. Our homecoming dance will be prior to homecoming this week. It is on Saturday, September 23rd from 8 to 11 p.m. in Collinge. Tickets are $10 and available on ePay until September 22nd. If students don't pre-purchase their tickets, they can purchase one at the door for $15. We expect over 1,000 students to attend the dance this year. If you would like to get in the homecoming spirit, DECA is selling homecoming t-shirts. They are available on the Wayzata High School page. In fine arts news, the cast list for the fall musical Mary Poppins is now posted. Practices began today after school. Our marching band was a highlight in the J.J. Hills Parade yesterday in downtown Wayzata, along with our Showstoppers dance team. In athletics and activities news, Wayzata Athletics had a strong finish in last spring's state tournaments. The synchronized swimming team won their 11th state championship title. Boys golf won the AAA state championship title. Boys lacrosse beat Meadow 9-8 to place third at the state meet, and the Trojans baseball team beat Maple Grove 11-3 to claim third place at the state tournament. Athletic passes are available for purchase on the ePay site. The fee is $50 and is good for admittance to all Wayzata home games. Students' IDs are the pass into the game once you have paid. Varsity football has now started their season with a record of 1-1, beating Rosemount in Week 1 and losing to Minnetonka in Week 2. A calendar for all other sports and updated scores can be found on the Wayzata Athletic and Activities site. This concludes my update on what is going on at the high school. Thank you all for having me here and listening to what I have to say, and I look forward to coming back next month.
Awesome. Thank you, Grant. There's a lot. Gosh, the high school just started up, and hey, stay here for just a second, because sometimes we have questions. So does anyone have any questions? Comments? Andrea?
Well, I'm excited to see what happens with the carnival. I think it's fun to try something new, and I'm curious, who will be in the dunk tank?
I think we might try to get some teachers in there just to spice things up a little bit. But I'm sure volunteers will be able to go in there as well.
Maybe those new
I'm not
teachers.
volunteering.
Yeah,
Maybe the new teachers that got the coffees and the treats.
possibly, yeah.
Right.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Great. Well, thank you. We'll see you next month.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Grant.
All right. And the fourth item on our agenda is for recognitions. And we've got a little bit of catch-up to do for employee recognition. So as Dr. Anderson makes his way up to the podium, I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you. And before Grant leaves, Grant, thank you for being here tonight. Many years ago, it was a tradition that we'd have our Teachers of the Month, or Employees of the Month, be in the dunk tank. So I just thought I'd mention that to you before you get out of here tonight. So thanks for being here. Have a good evening. Take care. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Chace Anderson. I'm the superintendent for the school district, and it's always my honor to convene the Employee of the Month recognitions, and it's a great honor to be here tonight. We have quite a lot of them, actually. We've sort of been backing up and having some folks that maybe couldn't be here, and during the summer months we try to delay just so that we have our school year convened and we're off and running. So tonight it's a great honor to recognize 5 employees of the month, and we'll take them one by one, and we'll bring the employee up, and I'll share a very nice script on behalf of that person that was submitted for their nomination, and then give each of them an opportunity to share a few thoughts as well. So we are going to start this evening with Cassie vanKoeverden. If Cassie would please come forward. Congratulations. And before I turn this over to Cassie, I would like to share the following on her behalf. Congratulations to Cassie vanKoeverden, SDC, Special Education Teacher at Oakwood Elementary, for being named Wayzata Public Schools April Employee of the Month. Excellence for each and every student. This is not just a mission statement or tagline for Cassie. Cassie believes in this statement to her core. Working as a special education resource teacher and most recently as the SDC teacher, Cassie's everyday teaching is meeting and challenging each individual child at their level. Her dedication, work ethic, talent, creativity, and perseverance is truly amazing, and parents have switched schools to make sure Cassie stayed as their child's teacher. There are many modifications and programming that happens with different members of the team, but it is Cassie and her direction to the paraprofessionals that carry out the work. She goes above and beyond when it comes to her students' communication. Cassie is a leader and a great team player. She really understands the importance of a team approach when it comes to working in an SDC classroom. Whatever challenges Cassie faces, she rises to the occasion. She never gives up, but instead uses her resources and her talent to allow for every student to reach their maximum potential and to be successful. Cassie is fun to be around and always finds time to get together and share funny stories to support others. We know we can always depend on her. Cassie has a can-do attitude about all that she does for students and their families. She is a master at differentiation to meet all the students' needs. Watching her teach is like observing a juggler keep all the balls in air at once. Are you going to demonstrate that tonight? Oh, okay. One senses she loves the students and her work with them, and this positivity helps her to establish relationships that encourage growth. It is truly a pleasure to work with her. Cassie is the teacher that truly defines excellence. Congratulations.
Okay. I'd like to start off by thanking the board for giving me this opportunity to work here at the Wayzata School District. This is quite an honor to be recognized when there are so many deserving teachers at Oakwood. 11 years ago, I started my teaching career at Gleason Lake as a special ed teacher in the resource room when I found my passion in helping students by including them in the mainstream classroom and determined to help them meet their full potential. As difficult as it was to leave Gleason Lake, I moved to Oakwood in 2015, where I took on the role of running a specially designed classroom. I've learned so much from my coworkers and district specialists. I can't thank them enough for the amazing work they do. Without them, I would not have been able to do what I love to do every day. Being able to collaborate and work as a team has really helped my students reach their goals. I also can't be more appreciative for the paraprofessionals I had working in my classroom. They are one of the reasons our students make this progress they do and are so successful in the general education classroom. I'd also like to thank Sarah Beth and I. Without her support and willingness to step in and help me at any time, my job would have been much more difficult. Her leadership and hard work she has shown Oakwood this last year was greatly appreciated. Even though this job as a special education teacher has many challenges, there's many more rewards that come with it. I want to thank you all for this recognition again, and I look forward to teaching in Wayzata School District many more years.
Next, I'd like to invite our June Employee of the Month forward, Brian Weitz. And I'll share the following on Brian's behalf. Gleason Lake Elementary is proud to recommend Brian Weitz as the June Employee of the Month. Brian has been with the district for the past 9 years, and during this time he has taught 4th grade. He brings compassion, dedication, and expertise to this position. Brian is a creative and confident educator who has been instrumental in designing high-quality instruction where students are engaged in exceptional learning opportunities. He is known for digitally creating experiences where students are interacting with others across the United States and producing an end-of-the-year video that truly amplifies students' voice while sharing about their best 4th grade experiences. He is always willing to put students first and continually focuses on each child's unique strengths. His enthusiasm for teaching and caring personality is evident in the relationships he forms with his students and their parents. Brian's commitment to Gleason Lake reaches beyond his classroom. He willingly takes on various projects and quietly gets them accomplished. He has taught our Targeted Services program for the past 8 years and was a member of the District My Way Committee. Brian recently completed the West Metro Leadership Academy program and the Envoy coaching process. His committed leadership and guidance is evident and greatly appreciated. Brian shows genuine respect and concern for all students, parents, and staff at Gleason Lake. We appreciate Brian for his amazing listening skills, calm demeanor, and true dedication and commitment to education. Brian is very deserving of this recognition, and we congratulate him as Wayzata June Employee of the Month. Brian, congratulations.
Well, thank you to the school board, to Dr. Anderson, to Mary McAsee. I'm extremely happy to be here right now, tonight, but also happy to be teaching in Wayzata in this community. Gleason Lake is an amazing place to work. I feel like I have everything that I need to be successful there, and that's such a comforting, reassuring feeling as a teacher to feel like I have all the support in every area where I would ever need it. As I was thinking about my teaching experience, as a 4th grade teacher, I try to provide opportunities for students to extend their learning and follow their passions and explore new things on their own and really take ownership of their own learning. And I think it works out pretty well for the most part. And along with that, then I realized that in a situation like this, I can't really take credit for what's happening in the classroom. So my most sincere thanks to all the students, families that I've worked with, such as Cameron and Karen. Thank you. Those are the people that inspire me every day. So the credit, I think, goes to them. Thank you.
Our July Employee of the Month, Christina Marietti. Congratulations to Christina Marietti for being named the July Employee of the Month. Christina has worked for Wayzata Public Schools since 2011. Before that, she worked in the Osseo Public Schools, where she provided quality special education services to elementary age students. Christina began her career in Wayzata at Greenwood Elementary, working in a specially designed classroom. In this assignment, Christina had the charge of working with students on the autism spectrum who demonstrated the most intense needs within the district. Christina transitioned to Meadow Ridge Elementary when the school opened in 2016 with the mission of creating a truly inclusive fifth grade classroom. In Christina's current classroom, she champions innovation by providing special education services and case management to 7 students and general education services to all students in her fifth grade classroom. Innovation and diversity are the themes of Christina's inclusive classroom. She has implemented strategies and materials that champion a universal design for learning. She has learned firsthand what she long suspected, that strategies and materials that benefit her students with special needs benefit all students. Christina acknowledges that all students have strengths, weaknesses, and specific areas of interest, which allows her to personalize learning and meet the needs of a classroom bursting with diverse learners, students with disabilities, average learners, and even Vision 21 students. Christina is reflective about her practice, open to new ideas, and she has a passion for professional growth. This passion has driven her to complete a doctoral program in special education with a dissertation on the benefits of inclusive classrooms. Christina serves as a quiet leader among her colleagues. Her implementation of our district's first true inclusive classroom inspired her peer coach to create an inclusive classroom upon his return to the classroom. Christina cultivates a new way of thinking among her colleagues and leads by example with sincerity, conviction, and excellence. Amy Vollendorf, a program support specialist providing assistance and strategies for working with students with autism spectrum disorders, stated, "Christina has expanded my thinking with her inclusive classroom. For most educators, it is inconceivable to think that one person can serve the needs of general education students and those with disabilities in the general education setting equally well. But she does it every day, seamlessly. Congratulations, Christina. Thank you for your service, innovation, and dedication to all of our students."
Well, thank you, Dr. Anderson. Thank you, board. I just want to, first of all, thank Special Services and Jody Remsing for this nomination. It's a great honor. And especially Jerry Johnson. She has been my supporter from the get-go years ago when I sat in meetings with her saying, hey, wouldn't this be a cool idea, to helping me consider the proposal and writing up the proposal, to this last summer saying, hey, let's go out for lunch and let me hear about the success of your classroom. So I really appreciate that. I also want to thank Lori Files, the previous special education director, and Karen Keffler for believing in my proposal and believing in my abilities to do this and letting me actually have the classroom and seeing it succeed. I also want to thank the Meadow Ridge staff as a whole. It's a great place to work. It's so much fun and so supportive. My team is awesome, and just they truly embrace the idea of providing the best for each and every student. I love going to work every day. The dream of an inclusive classroom really started as a spark for me as a parent many, many years ago when my 2 oldest children, I was fighting for their rights. They have autism, and I was fighting for their educational rights. And it continued through my career as a special education teacher, and it just continued to grow. And it's amazing to see your dream become a reality. It's incredible to be a part of that reality, but most importantly, to see the success. That's why I do it every day, to see the success of my students and how thrilled the parents are, all of them. That's why I do it. So thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Janet Strobel forward, August Employee of the Month. Congratulations to Janet Strobel for being named the August Employee of the Month. Janet has worked for Wayzata Public Schools through community education since 1996 as a teacher with the early childhood family education and Peppermint Fence preschool programs. She's an outstanding employee who truly understands the importance of teaching to each and every child while also reaching out to each and every parent. While under her direction as a teacher, each child thrives in the rigorous but caring learning environment that is evident the minute you walk through her door. Her contagious smile and welcoming personality are naturally extended to the parents, staff, and families, as well as any other visitors to the building, including the superintendent, I might add. The students adore Mrs. Strobel, and they know she is their biggest supporter and advocate. Janet's positive attitude is contagious with the staff as well. She is extremely dedicated to her profession and the district and readily shares her appreciation for those around her and the opportunities she has had through Wayzata. She is a team player who is always willing to go the extra mile, providing support for family activities, special events, and mentoring new staff in addition to her full-time teaching duties. In conclusion, a parent said it best one day. As she was leaving our school at the end of a school year, she stopped by the office and exclaimed, "I am a better person because I was able to get to know Janet this year." Congratulations, Janet. Thank you for your service and dedication to Wayzata and our early learning families. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I accept this community education recognition on behalf of all who work for community ed and for the families who support our programs, entrusting us with the love and care and learning of their children. It's a privilege to share in the life of a child. It truly is. And forming those vital relationships with him or her as well as their respective families. And that's what it's all about, truly. So thank you very much.
And our September Employees of the Month, and yes, it's plural, we have two. I'd like to invite John Siegrist and Chris Zobrack forward, please. And I'd like to share a few thoughts on their behalf before they have an opportunity to make a few comments. Roland Barth said, "The nature of relationships among the adults within a school has a greater influence on the character and quality of that school and on student accomplishment than anything else." Meadow Ridge is pleased to nominate John Siegrist and Chris Zobrack for Wayzata Schools September Employee of the Month. John and Chris are the physical education team at Meadow Ridge and an integral part of the school community. The overarching theme in the careers of these two amazing teachers is community building. Whether it's in the health classroom or gymnasium, John and Chris know the relationships are the key in education and a positive work environment. Their creativity is on display each and every day as they inspire students to do their best by using a combination of best practice, humor, and nonstop coaching to help students reach their potential. They collaborate every day and bring out the best in each other. Chris began his Wayzata career in Wayzata in 2006 as a part-time PE teacher and moved to full-time at Sunset Hill. While there, he focused on amplifying the PE program through the creation of learning targets, integrative supportive technology, and enhancing the overall experience for his students. In addition to his work as a PE teacher, he co-sponsored the Student Council, organized successful fundraisers for the Heart Association, and started the tradition of the staff-student basketball game. He also created some alter egos that captured the attention of viewers on the morning news. John joined the district in 2006 as a health teacher at Wayzata East Middle School. Health class is very interesting for 8th graders, and he quickly became the favorite teacher for many students, building relationships and making the class a safe and fun learning environment. In addition to his work in the classroom, he had an impact on the school culture as well. He embraced the philosophy of PBIS, working with the assistant principal to create videos that are legendary, bringing both staff and students together. These two building leaders came together with the opening of Meadow Ridge Elementary. They were an integral part of building the staff community. They created social outings, game shows, and challenge activities, allowing for staff to come together, have fun, and get to know each other. They built the student community as well by pairing kindergartners with older students for some PE activities, creating the staff-student basketball game, coordinating mascot sightings throughout the building, and organize a community ed class for students after school. You may remember their starring roles in this year's back-to-school video. That was just a taste of their fun and creative talents. Meadow Ridge is so fortunate to have John and Chris as members of the staff. We look forward to their continued contributions to both the school and the district. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you to the board and to Dr. Chace Anderson. It's an absolute honor to be recognized alongside my colleague, John. It's been a blessing this last year plus, getting to know John inside the classroom. We got to know each other quite a bit playing basketball early mornings at East before that, but never really had that professional relationship outside of on the court. You know, when he'd reject my shots and tell me to try harder. Anyway, but seeing a bunch of familiar faces out there is amazing. Congratulations to the other employees of the month. It's well deserved for all of you. So congratulations to that as well. I do want to give a quick shout out to Judy Rogers in the back. Thanks, Judy, for showing up. You and I have worked consecutively here since I started. You're the only other employee in Meadow Ridge that I've worked consecutively with, so thank you. I appreciate that. And to all the principals that I worked with along the way as well, I've had some fantastic leaders to look up to and guidance along the way. So from Mary Mackesy to Ross Williams to Dr. Tom Cook, Jason Wenschlag, and then of course the fantastic Karen Kuffler, who's had the opportunity to hire me 3 different times. That's a story for a different day, but thank you, Karen. And then last, I do want to give a huge thank you to John. I've always enjoyed what I've done. I've always loved it. I didn't think it could really get any better, but it did when John and I was able to team up. I remember when I accepted the position at Meadow Ridge and then found out that John would also be a FIA teacher at Meadow Ridge, the first thing I was told was that John Siegrist is the Chris Zobrack at Sunset Hill and vice versa. So I didn't know how to take that at first, but upon our first meeting together, it clicked. I understood what he meant. So thank you again for the amazing opportunity to be up here, and all right, here we go.
So kind of like, you're me, I'm you, we're us. That's kind of our, I just made that up right now. Just to echo a lot of things that that Chris mentioned, and you heard a little bit in our bio there, which is a great write-up, so thank you for that, Karen. And thank you to the school board, and thank you, Dr. Anderson. As I started my career in Wayzata at Wayzata East, as Dr. Anderson mentioned, 8th grade health is interesting. I still, to this day, most people, the way they respond when I'm out at a work function with my wife, and, oh, what do you do, John? Well, I'm a teacher. Oh, that's great. So happy for the work that you do. What grade do you teach? Like, 8th grade? Oh. Good for you. Good for you. What's your subject? Health? Oh my gosh. Are you crazy? I wasn't crazy. I had a blast. It was a great way to start my career, spending all those years with teenagers. I loved the staff at East and great leaders, made lots of friends, but it was just time for a new adventure, and that's when I applied at Meadow Ridge. And turns out that elementary kids are a little bit different than 8th graders. Fewer hormones and a lot more energy. And for me in my career, it's a great thing. So thank you to Karen especially for taking a chance on me, because I had never seen an elementary classroom. So, and wow, I couldn't have done it without this guy either, because like I said, I can maybe help him when his boys become teenagers, and that'll be the trade-off. So if you have any difficult conversations, I could maybe help him out there. But thank you to Chris. Thank you once again. Thank you for all of you that could make it tonight. Thanks.
I believe that's all of our employees of the month. You'll have to come back next month if you want to see who the October employee of the month will be. But, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. It's a great honor to be able to convene this part of the meeting, and it's just really a joy for all of us to recognize these great employees for their work and for the fact that they've clearly made an impression with their colleagues and families that they work with. And we really are a people business, and it's our people that make the difference here. Each and every day we have a lot of great and wonderful staff members that show up to truly make a difference for our students and their families, and I can't thank you enough. So I appreciate that you're all here tonight. I would like to also just share that you're more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the board meeting. Typically after the recognition part of the board meeting, those that were here for that reason can feel comfortable making a graceful exit. So if you'd like to do that at this time, you may. Thanks so much for coming tonight.
That's fun.
All right, and so the next item on our agenda would be a report from teaching and learning, or a curriculum presentation, but we don't have that tonight. So Dr. Anderson, you are up again with your superintendent reports.
And I currently have a frozen computer. I'm trying to get my PowerPoint pulled up and the screen down. So if you will bear with me for a moment.
There's no lights on out there. Oh,
Like the mouse is just dead.
Standing in the dark.
You're just missing the mouse. It looks like the mouse pad.
For those on the viewing audience, if you didn't catch that before, we're taking a little pause for a technological adjustment. Should resume in just a moment.
It's speaking to us.
I'm gonna go get a water.
Let's just a slight break here until I think we have to reboot the computer.
Okay. Should we move forward to policy? Could we change the order of the agenda without,
Sure.
can
Yeah,
we
let's
do that?
And then
Okay,
come back,
all right,
queue up
good.
the
So,
presentation.
so the second item on the, under superintendent reports was a review of policies. And so, we will let you report on some.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. In the agenda tonight, we have a number of policies that have been through their first review through our, they've been reviewed through our policy committee, and they're brought to you tonight for first reading. And I'll just read through the list of policies that are in your board packet tonight. Policy 101, school district legal status. The modification was a small edit to bring the policy in line with MSBA language. Policy 102, school district mission statement. It was updated to reflect the current mission and vision statement. Policy 403, harassment and violence. No changes. Policy requires annual approval, even if there are no updates. Policy 415, mandated reporting of child neglect or physical or sexual abuse policy. No changes. Policy requires approval, even if there are no updates on an annual basis. Policy 809, authorized use of district-owned materials and equipment. There were some small edits to keep this policy consistent with our other 800 series. And two policies from community education. The first one titled Community Education, which was revised to reflect current practices and to clarify intent. And policy 920, use of school district facilities and equipment. It's a new policy to clarify community use of district equipment and facilities. So those are the policies that were brought forth this evening for first reading.
All right, thank you. And just to remind the board, a first reading of a policy would bring it back to the work session for discussion. We've at times reviewed a policy, brought it forward for second reading and approval, which just solidifies the policy here. And a third option is to pull a policy off for additional discussion at the work session to then bring back. So is there a motion on the table for the recommended action to approve the policies as listed by Dr. Anderson?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we remove policies 809 and 920, just for a little bit further review at our work session, and then move the remaining policies that are listed here for second reading and final approval here at our meeting tonight.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. All right, so the motion on the table is to move policy 809 and 920 from review at this time in order to discuss them in more detail at the September work session, and to move policies 101, 102, 403, 415, and 919 to a second reading and final approval. Is there any discussion? No, all right. I can just add as policy chair that, just second what Dr. Anderson said, that we did discuss all of the policies in detail at policy committee. And since 920 is a new policy and 809 is a companion policy for it, it made sense to move those two together for further discussion. All right. If there's no more discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. All right, great. Not yet?
I think we probably could go to business and finance.
All right, here we go. Mr. Westrom, you have a few things to discuss, so we'll
Yes,
move it
Madam
forward to
Chair,
you.
members of the board, I have five business items before us this evening. The first one is our monthly financial reports. And included in your board packets for your review and information are the following financial reports as of July 2017. We've included the Student Activity Fund Report, the investment summary, an analysis of financial reports, a statement of revenues, and a statement of expenditures. And just a note that our fiscal year goes from July 1st through June 30th, so you have not received final information or financial reports for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2017, although we are providing you with monthly financial reports for the month of July 2017. So no school board action is required, and if you look within those reports, you'll note that our expenditures and revenues compared to the budgeted amounts seem reasonable in comparison to prior years, considering that we only have 1 year or 1/12 of that data included in the reports. So I would be happy to take any questions if there are any, but nothing unusual is noted. And I should also mention that the treasurer, as well as other board members, have reviewed the items in great detail, had us pull a couple of the items, and everything looks reasonable at this point, so.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Westrom. Are there any questions or discussion? All right, and with no action required, we'll just move on to your next item.
Okay, the second item is related to the Minnesota School District Liquid Asset Trust. Wayzata Public Schools utilizes the Minnesota School District Liquid Asset Fund Plus for investing purposes for general and construction proceeds. The fund is governed by a board of trustees comprising of 5 school board members, 3 superintendents, 3 business officials, and an ex officio trustee from the Minnesota School Board Association, and others. Due to her retirement, MASBO has appointed Jill Schwint, the district controller, to fill the vacancy until November 2017. The bylaws require a vacancy to be filled at the next scheduled election in November. But the Board of Trustees of the fund has selected Jill Schwint to be placed on the ballot at the annual meeting to be held on November 15th for election for a 2-year term. And the appointment does require the support of the Wayzata Independent School Board. And so the recommended action is before you. Would you like to read that?
All right, yes. So the recommended action is to adopt as presented the resolution relating to the appointment of wrong one, I'm sorry. The appointment of Jill Schwint to the Minnesota School District Liquid Asset Fund Plus. Is there a motion to that effect?
I would move that forward and ask that we waive the reading of the complete resolution.
All right.
Second?
Second? All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Just thank you to Jill for serving in this fashion.
Yes, I would echo that. We thank Jill for protecting the interests of the district.
All right. Well, yes, okay. And I believe that since it's a resolution, we have a roll call.
All right, Cheryl Polzine,
Yes.
Eric Brown,
Yes.
Andrea Keen, yes, Linda Cohen,
Yes.
Sarah Johansson,
Yes.
Bonita Lucky,
Yes.
Chair McCullough is absent, and the motion carries.
All right, thank you. And thank you to Jill Schwint. And Mr. Westrom?
Okay, thank you for allowing me to continue. The school board is required to officially appoint qualified individuals to serve as election judges for school district elections. Attached is the appropriate resolution relating to the appointment of election judges for the general election on November 7th, 2017. The resolution also establishes payment amounts for the judges, and you will note that payment amounts for those judges range from $10 per hour to $15 per hour, which is consistent with other precincts within the metropolitan area. So the recommended action is before you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Westrom. So the recommended action is to approve the resolution relating to the appointment of election judges for the general election on November 7th, 2017, as presented by Mr. Westrom and included in your board packet. Is there a motion?
I so move and waive the reading.
All right,
I'll second.
all right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I guess thank you to the election judges. It's a very long day, and we really appreciate that they serve in that fashion. So, thank you, election judges.
Yes, yes. Any other discussion? This too is a resolution.
All right, Eric Brown,
Yes.
Andrea Keen, yes, Linda Cohen,
Yes.
Sarah Johansson,
Yes.
Bonita Lucky,
Yes.
Cheryl Polzine,
Yes.
Chris McCullough is absent, and the motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And finally, Mr. Westrom.
Yes, another item related to a resolution appointing absentee ballot board election judges for the November 7th, 2017 general election. And just wanted to point out, once again, for our viewing community, we do have an election on November 7th, and we do have 3 school board members that will be running for re-election. And then we also have a number of other items that will be on a ballot. So the school board is required to officially appoint qualified individuals to serve as absentee ballot board election judges for school district elections. Attached is the appropriate resolution appointing absentee ballot board election judges for the November 7th, 2017 general election. Please note Hennepin County elections will be handling all mail-in absentee ballots, and Hennepin County will appoint an absentee ballot board for all Hennepin County elections occurring on November 7th, 2017. Included in the resolution also is pay for any non-employee type election judges, but I believe that almost everybody included in the attached resolution is actually an employee of the district, so there will not be an additional cost associated with anyone working during their regular duty day. So the recommended action is before you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Westrom, bless you. So the recommended action is to adopt as presented the resolution appointing absentee ballot board election judges for the November 7th, 2017 general election. Is there a motion?
I so move and waive the reading.
Second?
Right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I will underscore a thank you to our staff members who will be serving as the election judges for the absentee balloting. All right, and another roll call, Ms. Keen.
Andrea Keen, yes. Linda Cohen.
Yes.
Sarah Johansson.
Yes.
Bonita Lucky.
Yes.
Cheryl Polzine.
Yes.
Eric Brown.
Yes.
Chair McCullough is absent, and the motion carries. Thank you.
All right.
May I suggest that we can either do the review and comment, or we could go back to the presentation that Dr. Anderson was going to?
Either way is fine with me.
Okay,
I'll defer to you.
all right.
Should I just wrap things
Yeah,
up?
why don't you just wrap it up, and then we'll
Okay.
go back to Dr. Anderson.
Okay, so the next item is the review and comment, and I have a little bit of a narrative here that I'd like to share with the board and with the community as a whole. So Minnesota Statute 123B71 requires that a school district seeking voter approval for construction purposes submit a review and comment document to the Minnesota Department of Education. The school board did direct the superintendent to prepare and submit the review and comment document to the Commissioner of Education at its July 10th, 2017 meeting. The Commissioner of Education's office has completed their review of the district submitted review and comment documents and has issued a positive review and comment statement. This statement indicates that the Commissioner finds the educational and economic advisability of the Wayzata School District's proposed building construction projects as favorable. So the reason why we're reading this at a board meeting is recent legislative changes in law now require a school district to hold a public meeting whereby the Commissioner of Education's comments are discussed, as well as comments received by the MDE from the public. The public meeting must be held prior to the date of the school bond referendum election, which you may recall will be held with our November 7th, 2017 election. The Commissioner of Education's review and comment statement will also be published in the legal newspaper of the district, and we are planning to submit that in the local paper shortly. So MDE has provided a positive review and comment statement for the proposed construction projects. MDE did not receive any comments from the community, and as of 7:00 p.m. this evening, the district has not received any comments from the general community as well. So in this evening's public meeting, we can review the proposed construction projects and budgets for each major area. We can also review MDE's positive review and comment statement, and we can also include a time for public comments. So no other action is required. And within Board Book, we have included the proposed construction projects and budgets for each major area. And we have included MDE's positive review and comment statement, and both of those items are available for our entire community on our website.
Okay.
So with that, I would open it up for public comments or board comments.
All right. I see no public comments coming forward. Board members. Well, I would just like to underscore, Mr. Westrom, say a tremendous thank you to your team, to you and your team pulling this together. As our viewing audience will find on Board Book, if you choose to go look it up, it's quite a lengthy document that I know took a lot of time and effort to prepare from your entire team. So thank you, and congratulations on a positive feedback. It really does underscore the diligence that our district puts into any new project. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And that concludes the business items of the school district this evening.
All right, thank you. Dr. Anderson, let's hear about the new school year.
It's working here.
Once again, to our beauty audience, thank you for being patient.
While it's warming up, maybe I'll get started. I always make a practice whenever I come to do a PowerPoint presentation to always bring a hard copy with me. This was the one night when, of course, I didn't print one off and bring with, but the good news is it's working here in front of us. I know my very capable team can kind of wing it, but it is visible here for them to review their notes as well. So I would like to invite 4 of my team members that are here tonight with me to come forward, and we each have a little segment of the program that we're going to share here with you, and to just provide a few highlights and an overview of the startup of the school year. It's been a very positive start. We have all of, I think, 5 school days in. We started the Tuesday after Labor Day, 4-day week plus today makes 5, and I think we're off and running. We're up about 380 students, I think, this year, and we'll have a chance to review that information in a little bit. But I'm just really proud of the work that these team members and our teachers and all of our staff throughout the school district have brought forth in order to help get our school year launched. So it's been a very successful launch. I think the transportation schedules are working beautifully, and the food service is in full operation. We welcomed a number of new teachers to start with us this year, along with many other new staff members. So it's just really an exciting time of the year when we welcome back all of our students. And we heard earlier from our student council representative of all the wonderful activities and things that are happening at our high school. So I'd like to thank all of you for your support and encouragement to our staff in getting prepared and ready for the school year. And for those of you who still have children in our school district, I hope they're off to a great start. And for those who may have had recent graduates, I hope that they're off and running and headed to their new chapter as well. So thanks so much for giving us an opportunity to be here tonight. This time, as I indicated, I would like to invite forward 4 of my team members that are here to co-present with me tonight. First, Mr. Westrom, who's our Director of Finance and Business, Dr. Jill Johnson, our Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, Stacy Voss, our Executive Director of Human Resources, and Annie Doty, our Director of Community Education Operations. So we each have a little bit of a segment in the areas that we're representing tonight. I have a few introductory comments that I would like to make. I'd like to start out just by thanking all of the people that worked so hard this summer to help get the school year started. I alluded to that a little bit, but some folks that come to mind are our principals and our clerical staff that remain in the buildings and hire new staff and make sure all the supplies are received and sent to the correct classroom, and to make sure that when the students and the staff show up that they find what they ordered and they have the supplies and equipment and books and materials that they need in order to ensure they get off to a great start. Also, our human resources staff for onboarding all of our new team members this year. You'll hear a little bit more about that from Stacy. She'll give you some of the details and the specifics about the positions we've hired. Our community education and special services staff who spend nearly the entirety of their summer here continuing our great work with students to ensure that we provide our community with some wonderful summer learning opportunities. Our buildings and grounds and maintenance staff, particularly not only this summer, but many years in recent past, where they've had to navigate around a lot of construction projects and different types of things that are occurring around the district. So that's been an added workload for them. I mentioned our Culinary Express, our food service group here as well for all of their summer prep work, and also our district administrative staff for not only completing the paperwork, but just being sure that everything was ready for liftoff on that first day. So just to kind of quickly highlight some of the work that we achieved last year, and whether this seems like it was just yesterday or in the distant past, I'll let you determine that on your own. But we implemented, as you know, last year we've had one complete year of our modified school start times. We implemented new school attendance areas last year, so we have a full year under our belt with modified attendance areas. We opened Meadow Ridge Elementary School. We opened and expanded Wayzata High School, and we continue to have great success with all of our student activities and, of course, outstanding academic achievement as well. So we are coming off of a year with, I've oftentimes referred out in the community that it was really the year of change for Wayzata Public Schools. There were so many new things that all had to come together to make for a great school year, and I think that we really pulled it off in great fashion collectively as a team throughout the district, and with the support and encouragement of our parents and our community. So we can be very proud of the work that we did in the past year. So that's not to be undone for the work that we have before us in the coming year. So we have a lot of exciting things happening. Perhaps most importantly, that continued excellence in student learning that we pride ourselves on and know that that's an important and key part of our trademark. Continuing work on our strategic directions. As you know, Annie and I are working together on community education this year, and she'll not share a lot of the details tonight about the work that she's been doing thus far, but share a few of the highlights in regard to summer programming and some of the things that are on our radar. We're also in the process of adding additional classrooms at Meadow Ridge. I'm not quite sure whether or not ground has been broken yet, but I know the area is fenced in, so they're starting to get serious about it and ready to launch into that endeavor here in the near future. And as I know you're all well aware, we have a school board election and something called a referendum coming up in November, which you just heard from Jim a little bit about the review and comment, and also taking a look at renewing and increasing our operating levy and renewing one of our 2 technology levies. So it's going to be a fall and a school year to remember with a lot of exciting things happening and a lot of wonderful opportunities for all of our students. So we have a number of traditions at the beginning of the year to help us get started, the school year started on a good foot. On August 16th, we had I think it's actually our 5th annual, or is it our 4th? I can't remember, 4 or 5 years of paraprofessional workshop event, and we have had a number of our paraprofessionals. I think we have 150 to 200, maybe more, that participate in that. On August 22nd, we welcomed all of our new teachers with a wonderful breakfast sponsored by Wells Fargo at the Wayzata Country Club. On August 29th, we had our all-staff breakfast and recognition, and we recognized 48 of our teachers for about 1,000 years of teaching experience within the school district. That afternoon, we also had a community education workshop where we were fortunate to hear comments from our Minnesota Teacher of the Year, Abdul Wright, who had a very captivating and riveting set of stories to share with us that was very inspirational and got the afternoon off to a great start, which was followed up by some discussion and engagement with a consultant to harvest insights and ideas from our community education staff. We also have done a number of human resources orientation meetings. One thing I'm very proud of in being superintendent here is that we do a really great job of onboarding our new team to help them gain a clear understanding about who we are and what we stand for, to learn about our strategic roadmap and the work that we're doing in the school district. I really appreciate all that they do through a number of opportunities for them to grow professionally and to get off to a good start, along with the work that they do in their buildings with their principals or supervisors. So just a really busy month in August to finalize the details and get ready for that day after Labor Day when all of our students come back. And right now I'm looking at a slide, and it's not projecting, but maybe for the viewers out in the community, maybe it is, I don't know. But we're up about 389 students in grades K through 12 this year. The greatest amount of growth occurred this year in the elementary level, where we're up 364 students. And then we have about 25 more students in the secondary this year than we had a year ago. So over the course of the previous school year and through the summer, we added just under 400 students into our school district. So as we've mentioned several times, that's a positive thing. It comes with some challenges in keeping up with capacity and other growth topics and issues that can occur. But it's a very enviable place to be, and we love to welcome new families into our school district, and glad that for whatever the reasons may have been, they chose us for their new home and the place for them to send their children to go to school. So given that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Westrom, and he'll share a little bit about some of his areas of expertise, and I'll turn it over to Jim. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson, members of the board. As you know, we have a 2.5-month window to do what most organizations are able to have the luxury of doing over an entire year. So the minute school is out and just before the teachers arrive back at the end of the summer, the district spends much of its time doing maintenance on its buildings, doing construction projects, and also preparing for those other operational items such as food service and transportation. So I'm pleased to mention that all of our buildings were open on time this year. You probably may remember a whole year ago, we spent Labor Day weekend preparing our high school kitchen so that we could open it in time to serve students on the first day of school. But all of our buildings were open on time this year. I can tell you that the maintenance staff did an incredible job of cleaning. Greenwood was pretty well disassembled right up until about 2 weeks before school started. You probably recall that we had a lot of major projects going on at Greenwood, but we were able to accomplish that through the collaboration and the collegiality of all of our custodians by shifting from building to building to determine where the need was greatest. As far as food service goes, we were able to serve on the first day of school in all buildings. We did have a little challenge at one of our sites. You're probably aware that we increased the capacity of Central Middle School and actually went from 5 lunchroom periods down to 3 lunchroom periods. And so we had a little help from our Oakwood friends. Oakwood actually prepared the food for the middle lunch period. So Central Middle School staff prepared the first and third periods. But I think at this point, from what I understand, all of our buildings are operating now, fully functional within themselves for our food service. Transportation, you're probably aware that 4 years ago, we entered into an agreement with our 2 bus contractors, MTI and First Student, and we have received the final shipment of upgraded buses. 4 years ago, we decided that we wanted to go to a full fleet of propane-fueled buses, and that was a 4-year implementation, and so those buses have arrived in August. They're not on the road yet, but they will be shortly. So we're pleased that we will now have a full fleet of regular to and from bus routes, 75 to 80 buses operating on propane. And you probably recall one of the reasons why we wanted to make that switch is for in very cold days in the winter. Typically the diesel will not be reliable enough to know that all buses will start. So we have a complete changeover in the regular to and from buses. And we actually have a full complement of bus drivers this year as well. So I'm imagining that this was a very good year for school board members. You probably didn't get any calls related to missed buses or lost students. So, and then finally, our construction projects during the summer largely have been wrapped up. We just have some small punch list items related to the $109 million worth of bond funding that was approved by voters back in 2014. And as you know, we're beginning to break ground on Meadow Ridge. So with that, I will pass this along to Stacy Voss, I believe. We'll talk about our staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening. From an HR perspective, we are off to a fabulous start. We currently have 1,632 talented staff members working with our children here in Wayzata School District. Of course, the majority of our staff is working directly with our students, and it is amazing to see what everyone has been doing to make sure that this first week of welcoming students back goes well for everyone. We specifically welcomed 206 new staff members. This is up about 56 employees from last year and makes sense in light of our increasing student enrollment. We hired 87 new teachers, 41 paraprofessionals, 15 culinary express, and we hired 38 home-based employees. And I'm sure Annie's going to speak about this a little bit more in her presentation. But last year at this time, we had hired 18 home-based employees. So you can see that we've really ramped up the efforts. There were many of us this weekend at James J. Hill days that were out recruiting because we still have openings. So if we have paraprofessional openings, culinary express, home base, and a few custodial positions. So I've been kind of relentless in my efforts to, are you interested in employment? We have employment. Do you have a friend who would like a job? With the increasing enrollment, which is a good thing, it does bring with it the fact that we need more help across the board. Thankfully, we were able to have all of our teachers in place when our students came to their classrooms that first day of school. Just to kind of continue with that tradition of excellence and the hard work that we're doing here, I wanted you to know that the makeup of our teachers is exactly where it should be. We're seeing the majority of our teachers within that 2 to 20 year experience level where we want the majority of our experience to be. We had 6% of our staff starting out as year 1 teachers. But that is sometimes deceiving because they could be a year 1 teacher in our district but have prior experience. But we really did our best to recruit the most talented teachers we could find over the summer and feel that we were very successful in that effort. Also, along with that, when you look at our 830 talented teachers in our classrooms, we have 20% of them that have their bachelor's degrees, 79% at their master's, and we have 1% that hold their doctorate degrees. So we're very proud of that as well. That upholds that whole belief that we are ever evolving as teachers and we're constantly learning and wanting to do better for our students. Okay. Then this goes into the highlights of teaching and learning. So we'll have Jill Johnson take over from here.
Thank you, Stacy. Good evening, board. First, I'd like to just thank my colleagues, Jim Westrom and Stacy Voss and Annie Doty for creating the conditions so teaching and learning could actually occur on the first day. So having buildings ready, staff hired, and before and after school staff hired really makes a difference. We had a great start by all accounts. When I call the principals, they're like, oh, I hate to say it, but we had a really great start out of fear that it'll, put it in the tank for us. But across the district, people were just really thrilled with how our school year started. So thank you for your support in making that happen also. Typical first day activities, teachers were there to greet the students at the elementary level and to, help with that handoff from mom to the kids and or dad and the kids to the school. And the kids seemed to be pretty good with the handoff. Helping the parents was maybe in some cases more challenging, the principal said. Lots of school assemblies to have fun, share expectations, build community. Tours of the school, finding rooms. I went on a tour with the kindergartners at Oakwood, and it is amazing what our teachers do to get kids ready. And as a secondary person, you always think they just must learn they know how to learn. It doesn't really occur to you that someone actually taught them this. So really fun to be a part of that. Already a lot of use of technology on the first day of school. And again, a strong focus on learning. I had 2 really great quotes from principals. One principal shared, we had a great start and have our first Panther Pride Spirit Day on Friday. I did have a first grader tell me this year is going to be even more awesomer because we get homework. We will work on his grammar later, but love his enthusiasm for homework. Second principal said we had parents greet students with bubbles, an all-school assembly where we met new students, new staff, and sang our school song, The Family Tree. One student said, this is the best school ever. No wonder we got a blue ribbon. So lots of enthusiasm at the elementary. Middle level, welcoming students and really helping them with their new reality of going into a much larger school, in some cases a larger school, not for all the elementaries, but just that idea of being on a team and having different teachers and how the day feels much different. Lots of activities and assemblies to help the students become acquainted with the school, one another, and just overall to feel comfortable. And then again, just a focus on learning, that was a big part of the day, that, you know, that is what we're here for, and to not lose sight of that. And then the high school, we got everybody in and out on time and in one piece mostly. The freshmen had been on campus earlier for their orientation through the Link crew. Lots of help with the kids navigating the high school, lots of support out in the hallway, and it was just wonderful what Grant shared about the new teacher, what the student council did for the new teachers. That was wonderful. I was not aware of that. So that was nice to hear, and again, just a very strong focus on academics. So overall, people feeling really good about the start of the year. So with that, I would like to introduce my colleague from Community Ed, Annie Doty.
Sounds odd. A year ago, I don't think I would have thought I would be here tonight, but I'm really happy I am. And I'm really happy for the whole summer. My car never once automatically went to the ad building. I made it to the ESC every day of the summer. And it's been great. I think Chace was right that we, in HR and community ed, we're working all year long, but it's still, there's something about the excitement when school starts. And even though we kept working and kept getting ready for it, there is just something exciting about it. So tonight I just want to talk a little bit about the early childhood education. First of all, we had before this in August, we had staff trained in a new assessment tool, TS Gold, and what was really cool about it was the ECFE staff, the ECSE staff, Peppermint Fence, and the Bright Start, all trained together. So I think that will be great. We added some new enrichment classes. As you're probably aware, most of our parents of our 0 to 5-year-olds want that morning classes because the little children have naps in the afternoon, so sometimes the building has been a little empty. But we've done a really good job of building in some enrichment classes, and so most of those are almost all full also. We had a STEM class for our 3 and 4-year-olds. We had a literacy class for 4-year-olds, and we had music and art classes for 3 and 4-year-olds also. We have 10 Bright Start preschool classrooms across the district, one in each elementary, and then Greenwood has 2, and then we have one at the early learning school also. And our preschool, we have a bit of a change this year. We have our preschool screening. That has normally been with our early childhood special ed department, but it is going to be under our early childhood family ed department this year. And we are planning for some great work is being done on the outreach programs right now. I know you're aware of a couple of new positions we have. They're meeting with the IOCP folks tomorrow. They've been already doing some major work. One of our new staff members has already designed the curriculum for our 0 to 5-year-olds for our PEAK program. For our parent university, so they're off to a great start. But it's been exciting work, and I've worked closely with Sandy Arndt, and we're going to keep moving forward with that. Home base, I know you're aware, as I presented at the last work session, but in front of you is a graph just showing our growth in our after school. Due to just the start times and the changes, we of course have more students in our after-school programs now, and you can see in 15-16 we had 855 students. Last year we had 1,090, and this year we have 1,347. So that's in 2 years. That's a 57% growth in the after-school. I was really fortunate to work 2 days in the after-school program this last week. We needed a staff member at Kimberly Lane, so I was with the kindergartners. Wow. First of all, it's a really well-oiled machine, and between the first day and the second day, it was amazing. But Oh, I just kept telling my colleagues, I do not want to call the superintendent and tell him I lost a child in these first 2 days. But they move fast, those kindergartners. So, but it was great, and it was really, really good for me to see the work that our staff does each and every day. I mean, Kimberly Lane has over 200 students in their home base, and trying to make sure they get to the right place, and the other students are going to the bus or being picked up, and then making sure they have a great experience for some of the kids stay there till after 6 o'clock. So it's a big span of time for kids too, and lots of smiles. I got lots of high fives the next day. I did tell someone that I had more hugs in those 2 days than I ever did as director of HR. But I even had a little girl, I was just standing there, and all of a sudden she came up and put her hand in my hand, and just out of the blue, so that was really cool. And then the last thing I just want to mention is our Youth Enrichment Wishes program. Again, that's another opportunity for our learners to have enrichment opportunities, and a lot of them do happen after school. And in 2014-15, we had 3,572 registrations, 3,572. Last year, we had 4,165. And then the next year, we had 5,723. So again, in a 2-year period, we had 60% growth. So there's, just I think, like with the home base, with the growth in the enrollment, we see higher growth in the whole home base, and I've just been so pleased and proud of seeing the work that's being done in community ed to make this all work for our families and our students. Thank you. I'll turn it back to Chace.
Thank you, team. Great work. I'll just keep them handy here in case you may have any questions, but without going a long list of all the folks that I'd like to thank, I kind of hit that group, I think, early on in regard to all the great work that occurred over the summer months. But I just really appreciate the teamwork and how everybody comes together to help each other out and make sure that all things are ready to go when the students show up, and it's kind of an all-hands-on-deck approach and method that we like to use. And I'm just very proud of my team here and others that work so hard to make sure that everything comes together and is ready for the school year. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions and or ask you to direct them to one of these 4 individuals if you have any.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Are there any questions or comments? Linda.
Thank you. I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. I just want to say thank you. I mean, it sounds as though, and that's what I'm hearing, is that the year started off extraordinarily well, and that takes a lot of work, as we just heard about. And so thank you all very, very much. It's really a pleasure to be on the board when things go really, really well.
Thank you for that, and we'll try to keep that the norm. Thank you.
Comments? I think we all speak to say thank you very much. It's a tremendous effort, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the time tonight.
And good punting with no slides. That's impressive.
Right.
Okay. So as we have our executive team getting back to their seats, we have just a couple more things on our agenda. And the first would be a human resources item. So, Ms. Voss, when you are ready.
Okay. Good evening, Madam Chair and Dr. Anderson and members of the board. I'm here to talk to you about board action on the contract with the Wayzata Education Association for fiscal years 2017-2019. So I'm very, very pleased to share with you that the school board's bargaining team and the Wayzata Education Association representatives reached a tentative agreement, contract agreement on July 20th. 2017. Subsequently, the WEA teachers voted on Tuesday, September 5th, to ratify this contract.
You did receive a summary of the proposed two-year contract, the language changes, and the costing model. Both the union and the board place a very high value on student achievement and a collaborative work environment. We're very proud of the fact that our teachers and our schools bring value to the Wayzata community, and that this contract is a strong reflection of our district's strategic direction. The negotiations team members were Marianne Brinda, Catherine Kotke, Corey Knutson, Tina Christofferson, and Clarice Jornby for the teachers. And on the district team, we had Andrea Keene and Cheryl Pulzine, also Jim Westrom, and myself leading the district team. I would like to express my appreciation for the collaborative efforts put forth by the negotiating team members throughout this process. The team's collective ability to resolve issues in a positive and respectful manner benefits all of us, and I'm very, very proud of the work that we did this summer. It was an exhausting summer, but we did good work, and I think everyone is proud of our final product. So my recommended action is that you approve the contract with the Wayzata Education Association for the period of July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2019, as agreed upon by the bargaining teams and ratified by the Wayzata Education Association.
Right, thank you so much. Colleagues, the recommended action is on the table. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Second. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Ms. Keene.
Yes, I would like to also thank the negotiations team. I'm just going to say their names again. I think they deserve a double thank you. For the teachers, we had Marianne Brenda, Catherine Kotke, Corey Knutson, Tina Christofferson, and Clarice Jornby. For the district, Cheryl Plazine and I were the board representatives, and we had Jim Westrom, Melissa Lahr, and Stacy Voss. I just want to share that working on negotiating the teacher contract is really hard work. And I think hearing the comments of our Teachers of the Month tonight, for me, was just such a great affirmation of how important that work is, to hear their accomplishments, their passion, their innovation. I'm proud of the work we did over the summer, especially when I hear about what fantastic work they're doing. So each of the team members I just named, they showed a real dedication and a sense of purpose about making decisions that really are best for kids. So I thank them all for their patience, their honesty, their courage to have really difficult conversations, and most of all, their commitment to collaboration.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Brown?
I'd just like to give a special thank you to Cheryl and Andrea for representing the board so well during the negotiation process. We really appreciate all the hard work that you put into that. Thank you.
Any other comments? I would like to underscore each one of those thank yous and that importance to everyone for a successful resolution. So we have a motion that has been moved and seconded, and this is a roll call vote.
All right, Linda Cohen.
Yes.
Sarah Johansson.
Yes.
Bonita Lucky.
Yes.
Cheryl Pulzine.
Yes.
Eric Brown.
Yes.
Andrea Keene, yes. Chair McCullough is absent, and the motion carries. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Wow, there's a lot to do when we go back to school. Moving on to board reports, and the first item on our board report is the report from our Superintendent Review Committee. So Bonita, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Madam Chair. It is with great pleasure that I actually read the review for our superintendent's performance review. On Monday, July 24th, 2017, the Wayzata Public School District Board went into closed session to evaluate the performance of Superintendent Anderson. Superintendent Anderson's annual performance evaluation was for the period of July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. The review was based on board members' input on 8 questions in order to provide feedback to Superintendent Anderson on his performance on behalf of the district. Feedback and discussion was organized into 4 areas: district strengths, district opportunities, Dr. Anderson's strength, and Dr. Anderson's personal growth opportunities. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive and a strong reflection of the dedication and commitment Dr. Anderson has for the continued success of the Wayzata Public School District. In regard to the district's strengths, the board praised Dr. Anderson's leadership in continuing to encourage the board's strategic direction throughout the district. This was evident in the successful implementation of community education, reimagining, and Wayzata Early Learning School, Compass, Bridges Math Curriculum, Home-Based Work Study, Meadow Ridge Opening, Start Time Changes, and more. The board emphasized Dr. Anderson's leadership in hiring extremely qualified staff to implement and manage day-to-day operations, including, but not limited to, new principals, support staff, teachers, and members of the executive leadership team. As the board discussed Dr. Anderson's personal strength, there was great and, again, tremendous appreciation for Dr. Anderson's wide array of skills. Some of those skills will include, but not limited to, integrity, thoughtful and strategic, ability to make connections in all situations, dedication and care for district students, constituents, and history of Wayzata Public School, communication, calm, patient, effective leadership, observing and understanding perspective, creative, problem-solving, superb listener, synergizing various ideas and viewpoints, continually expanding personal learning and knowledge, ability to build trust. The board also took the opportunity to offer suggestions for areas of improvement in the 2017 and 18 school calendar year. The board recommends 2 areas for district improvement. 1, provide a simple scorecard with metrics in each of the 4 strategic direction areas with 3 metrics per strategic direction, presented each quarter of the fiscal year, and 2, complete a community education plan by end of June 2018. As the board reflected on the strengths of Dr. Anderson, the board also discussed coaching opportunities to work on in 2017-18 school calendar year. The board recognizes the incredible education expertise Dr. Anderson brings to the district and would like him to continue to work to find new, innovative educational platforms and delivery opportunities. Dr. Anderson will need to allow his team to manage operational initiatives such as referendum and growth management in order to focus on strategic initiatives and planning. Additionally, with new members on his team, the board recognizes the need for Dr. Anderson to teach and mentor his team to continue the strong focus on strategic directions and the vision of the district. In summary, the school board continues to appreciate the unique skills and exemplary dedication Dr. Anderson brings to the Wayzata Public School District. The board looks forward to another successful school year and encourages Dr. Anderson to continue to focus on innovation and the board's strategic direction. So a big thank you, and we appreciate the work that you provide, Dr. Anderson. This is from the Superintendent Evaluation Committee and the entire board: Eric Brown, Andrea King, Benito King.
Thank you.
Thank you. I feel like you deserve a round of applause.
That's just to underscore, Superintendent Evaluation Committee, thank you to Chair Eric Brown, Benita Lucky, and Cheryl Polzine. Is there any discussion? No. All right. Okay, well, again, Dr. Anderson, it is an honor and a privilege to work alongside of you. We are continuously amazed and impressed by the work that you do to move our district forward, so thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, and thank you, committee. All right, any other board reports?
Madam Chair? Okay, don't really have a report, but I did want to mention an event that's happening on Tuesday, September 26th. It's called Levies and Taxes and Bonds, Oh My. And it's a presentation by Tom Melcher, the Minnesota Department of Education Finance Director, and he's going to be providing some information to the general public about public schools funding. So if you ever had any questions, you can come, and he's going to try and give layman's terms for how funding actually works and where the money comes from and where it goes to and just sort of do a basic sort of 101 on school funding. So again, this is an event that is sponsored by the Legislative Action Committees of Hopkins School District, Robbinsdale, Orono, and Wayzata School Districts. So, but all are welcome to attend, so if you know anybody that'd like to go learn about school funding, please join us. It's at 7 p.m. till about 8:15 on Tuesday, September 26th, and it's going to be at the Eisenhower Community Center in Hopkins. So there'll be information on our website if people want more information on that.
All right. Thank you. Any more board reports? No. Audience opportunity to address the board. Seeing none. That brings our meeting to a close. And I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
All right. The Wayzata Public Schools regular board meeting for September 11th, 2017 is adjourned.